messages via secret messengers after dark. In letters written by moonlight on parchment scrolls, Archidamus II set aside hostilities between the city-states and spoke as an old friend, discussing ways to avoid catastrophe through disarmament and compromise. Tragically, individual reason could never halt the massive machinery of state driven by blind collective interests. Sthenelatus, a hawkish Ephor, soon discovered the king's maneuvers. At a crucial assembly of all citizens, he shattered all of Archidamus II's efforts with crude, brief words. "I care nothing for the lengthy excuses of the Athenians," he roared. "I only know they have wronged our allies. Sparta lives by the sword and blood. Declare war." His words ignited wild fervor among the crowd. War chants resounded, and the declaration of war passed by an overwhelming majority. Archidamus II stared at the parchment bearing the order, his hands trembling slightly, not from fear, but from profound disappointment in humanity and a sense of tragic destiny. All his schemes, wisdom and steadfast pursuit of peace were crushed by the blind ambition of his era. He became a prisoner of his own homeland. It was one of the most heart-wrenching scenes in ancient Greek history. By Spartan law of dual kingship, Archidamus II, as military commander, had to lead the army into battle once war was declared. On the morning of departure, dark clouds loomed overhead. The elderly king put on his heavy bronze armor, which he had not worn for years. His crimson commander's cloak fluttered wildly in the bitter autumn wind. Spear in hand, he stood upon the great war chariot. Though outwardly calm, his heart was bleeding. Every step forward drew him further away from the belief in peace he had upheld all his life. The army marched slowly into Attica, the land of Athens. Archidamus deliberately dragged his feet and lingered for days at Eno, a fortress on the border. His men grumbled, yet only the king knew his delay was a last-ditch effort to give Athens time to reconsider and return to the negotiating table. When he finally had to order the destruction of olive groves and farmlands outside Athens, he watched crops burn to ashes beneath thick smoke that blotted out the sky. Silent tears streamed down his wrinkled cheeks and soaked his cold bronze face guard. While the fanatical soldiers cheered at the ruin of Athens' livelihood, Archidamus saw in the smoke the future ruins of Greek civilization. Tormented by misunderstanding and abuse from within, and curses and hatred from the enemy, he endured years of relentless spiritual suffering. By the third year of the war, prolonged mental torment and grueling campaigns had worn away the last of the elderly king's health. During a long siege, Archidamus II collapsed in his military tent. His face was gaunt, his breath shallow and labored. As his life ebbed away, a tear still lingered in the corner of his eye. He held his son's hand beside his bed and whispered his final words. He spoke not of capturing cities or winning glory, but stared vacantly at the top of the tent and murmured, "Bring this insane war to an end." He breathed his last quietly in the cold, lonely camp of the north at nearly 70 years old, leaving behind unfulfilled wishes and lifelong misunderstanding. Shortly after his death, a devastating plague swept through Athens, while Sparta exhausted its finest generation of warriors in the endless stalemate. The entire Greek world slipped into irreversible decline. Archidamus II's passing meant the loss of the last force of reason in Greece. Every grim prophecy he had voiced in the council chamber came true in the decades that followed. His life was a classic ancient tragedy, blessed with foresight, yet powerless to stop the approaching doom, destined to perish alongside his era in solitude. And so Archidamus II's life ended amid silent sighs in the night. There were no grand triumphal processions, only widespread devastation and lingering echoes. History often glorifies conquerors who bring destruction, leaving those who strive to preserve peace to endure eternal loneliness. Standing today among the ancient ruins of Greece and looking back on that age of fanaticism, we come to truly appreciate Archidamus II's greatness. He left behind no monuments built on bones, but a steadfast light of reason, precious in any era of madness. A true hero is not merely a brave warrior charging into battle, but also the lonely soul who reaches out to halt the oncoming tide of destruction, even when knowing it cannot be stopped. The story has now reached its end. The Peloponnesian War, which claimed countless lives and wealth, has long faded into the dust of history. The drums of Sparta have fallen silent forever, and the night sky of the north has regained its tranquility. All grievances and pains have faded with time. The fire in the chamber has died down completely, leaving only a faint warmth. Breathe gently and let go of all your worries. Archidamus II's lonely stand is over, and your peaceful dreams are about to begin. Good night.